welcome to my channel. It's Rebecca, also known as 4Kids at 147, and it's time for me to kit up a new painting. So yeah, I can't do it until it's kitted up, so let's get started. So this one is from Fansells. I'm pretty sure, yeah, this one I didn't do an unboxing on this one. But it is from Fansells, so I will pop the link down below. But I want to do this one for putting in my craft room. I found a spot for it. So I was like, I found an empty spot, it needed something. And this painting, I think, will be perfect. So yeah, I want to get it done. It comes with 19 colours. They all have symbols, but they do not have DMC numbers. So I'm actually going to kit it up in this one, which I've kitted down recently, and that's basically going by the numbers and what works for each one to have an individual pot. So this one actually comes with baggies as well, so let me get in it. Excuse the crinkling while we get rid of that part of the packaging. So yeah, this all comes in separate baggies. So let's start with the number one. And I have some circle stickers here. These have recently arrived, so I've not sort of cut them into manageable strips yet. So we'll deal with them in their full glory. And this is where I hope that the symbols are quite easy, because I don't particularly want to be trying to draw something that is not. So we've got some arrows, some letters and some numbers so far, which is not bad. And then we've got E, T, H. We have got a couple that are shapes, but we'll see how we go. 5, P. Then we have a dot. So I'm going to try and make that, you know, fairly big that I can actually see what it is. We've got a triangle that I'll try to make look like a triangle. I'm not even sure if you can see what I'm doing. My camera is higher up than it used to be, so I can actually get more in shot, which is great when it comes to unboxings of big paintings, but sometimes I need to remember to zoom in a bit. So that's like a line with a couple of dots on the end. We've got a different type of triangle. Now the only thing I do need to bear in mind with this, oh, we've got a star. This is where it gets fun, because it's not a norm, it's not a 6-pointed side star, it's a 5. And I could just put any type of star and know what it is, but I'm a fussy so-and-so, so that's not too bad. Then we've got a fat T, or fat upside down T, and then we have one dot. I call that one the pin. A dot with a line. Now the only thing is, on some of these symbols, because I am using a round tub, they can, of course, the round pots can move around in the storage. So what I'm going to do is I'm actually going to use a different colour pen. I'm going to use a black one, and I was just going to underline a few, but I think I'm actually just going to underline them all, because it's a different colour. It won't detract from what I'm looking at. So I'm going to underline them all, even the letters and the numbers. I mean, the letter U can look like a C. I've done that once before. See, this is how you learn these things. You make the mistakes. So I did once think I had completely mislaid one of my colours. And it was basically a letter C or a letter U. And it had turned round and was looking like a C. And I didn't twig that I didn't have a C on my pages. So I actually thought I had completely lost a colour. That took me a while to figure out. And that one had DMC numbers, so I should have known better. I think that's what made me find out in the end. So, say these come in bags, so it's a lot easier to get them tipped into the pots, and also to keep any spares if there is an overshot. For now, I'm going to pop them in the order that they are on the chart, because I do need to make sure that I'm cross-checking them before I put them away. But I may shuffle them up later and put, you know, an alphabet in order, and then put numbers in order, and then put symbols afterwards. Maybe I need to use my funnel, because this bag has got a little nick in it, so it's actually making a few of the diamonds go everywhere. Is that them all? No, one more. Okay, so that's A. And then we've got a down arrow, which now I've done it doesn't look as down as it was. Anyway, let me get my funnel. Let's just make life easier. So number 3. Hopefully these are all still going to fit. It's the only thing with using the funnel is you can't tell how full the tub is. We fit. We fit. Okay, number 4 is actually number 3, just to confuse matters. But there's some really nice and rich colours in this. I will pop a link to it down below in case anybody is interested, because as I say, I didn't do an unboxing on this one. But I just really liked it. I'm very much into plants and things at the moment, and sort of natural look. Okay, where's bag number 5? There it is. So this looks like it's a purple DMC number of some sort. Not that we know, because it doesn't come with DMC numbers, but small things. Then we've got number 6. I just know that I want to get this kitted up because I haven't got a diamond painting to do at the moment. I will have reviews, of course, on the ones that I have done, and de-kitting where necessary, i.e. when it does have DMC numbers. But they can wait until I actually have more time to film, rather than now, which is I can't diamond paint until I do film. It's part of the working week, so normally I don't tend to film through the week. I tend to do it all at the weekend, or in, you know, one lot, and I sort of tidy myself away in the craft room and get loads done. Okay, so number 9 is P. So yeah, that's normally how I tend to film, is I tend to film in bulk and then try and get them edited. So at the moment I'm a little bit out of sync, but I'm sure I'll get caught up. I'm even hoping that I'm caught up by the time this video goes up, but we'll see. Number 10. So this is really an easy way to kit up. I mean, we're already on number 10, and what? We're in 10 minutes, if that. And so far, all the colours are fitting in the pots, though I'm sure that will change soon enough. So I've got the letter N, which is number 11. So we've got quite a few purples in this one, but I'm trusting the design. It looks nice on what I can see already. So I'm hoping that it, of course, looks just as nice when it's finished. I think I've got a few of these where the ink might not have dried as well, so hopefully I don't go smudging my labels. number 12. I think it's actually number 16 that looks as though I have the most of it. That could potential, though this one's pretty full. Will it all fit? Borderline. Okay, so I think I need to pay attention to what line it goes up to in the funnel to make sure that it all goes in. But so far, I'm getting away with it. Okay, number 13. Oh, we'll be fine with that. We've not got many of those. But yeah, so what are you guys all working on? Are you working on a round or a square painting? This one is a round, and I did want to do a round. I've done a couple of squares, and while I do really like squares. Oh, I think I've got a road diamond. You're just going to have to go over there. I'm not fighting out which one you are from. While I do really like squares, I've actually found that after going through a phase of only really doing square, that I actually do like mixing it up. I like mixing it up between round and square. So I think I'm going to try alternating between the two, and see how that goes. Because I've just done 2 square and it makes me want to do a round. Okay, so this is number 16. This is a bag that I feel is a lot fuller than the rest. So I'm just going to pay a little bit more attention to how far up it comes. So I'm thinking that line is possibly full. And yeah, it is. So I could create a second symbol for this. I do have spare pots, but I think, especially because they're drawn symbols and my drawing is not the best, as you can see by the star, I think I'm just going to leave it as a spare bag. I'm always going to have the key on the painting to tell me which one it needs to be. Is this one a full bag as well? Ooh. I think this one might just squeeze in. Got a little bit of static though. It's going to be borderline. Look how full that is. So full that they're all flying off the top. Ooh. That one doesn't want to go in. Just the lid, but the lid goes on. I do have some pots that have bigger numbers, bigger storage space, but the actual case holds 60 pots, which is just too much for this painting. I don't need a case that big. This one's probably going to be borderline as well. Yeah, that one's even more borderline than the other one. See if we can get the lid on. If we can't, okay, I've got the lid on. While it being that full, I mean, if you have a look at that, look. Focus, camera, come on. Try and tell it where I need it to focus. Okay, so I'm not sure if you can tell or if it's still not focusing. There we go. Okay, so while that is extremely full, if you don't like working that way or that full, focus again, then of course by all means leave some in the bag, but I tend to work on sections that are fairly big, and with this picture having only 19 colours, I'm likely to have quite a few in the section that I'm doing. Oh, this one's going to be way too full. Okay, let me keep hold of this bag and see how this one goes. Yeah, that one was pushing it a bit too far. But while some people don't like it to be that full, then by all means, of course, keep yourself some bags. But I know that doing one section with those diamonds will make that pot manageable. So for me, it's not worth having an extra bag floating about for the sake of that. So let me just zoom out the other way. Can you see my mess? Oh no, look, I managed to keep all the mess off camera. Okay, so that's the stickers done. I don't need the funnel anymore. And that is that one kitted up. So as I say, these two are extremely full, and I would just need to pay attention when I tip a few out. But apart from that, they're all manageable. But I've got myself down to only having 2 bags extra, which will just sit in the top of the case. So the next thing I need to do is prep my canvas. I do prefer working with an opaque cover. So let me find my trusty little passport holder that holds all my cover paper sheets, and I'm going to see how far I can get. I don't think I need to roll this one up while doing it. It is 80 by 30. However, I do think it's going to be fine. So I'm just trying to work out now what's the best way to section it up. So, because the sticky does go over a little bit, I'm not going to get away with doing 2 flat and 1 upright. Question is, will I get away with doing 4 that way? Possibly. Maybe we'll go with that. So I'm actually going right down to the bottom of the painting, so I have got an overlap on the bottom, which means the first section I do will probably be a smaller section, but then I'll have a couple of bigger sections, and then I'll have another small section, and I'll tend to work from one end across. I'll actually work with it on its side. So by having it this way, I quite like the fact that I can, depending on how much time I've got that evening, will depend on whether I start on a small section or a bigger section. And of course, some evenings I manage to get a couple in. I am doing a slight overlap, but that's just because I don't want to get any dust or anything on my diamond painting. I have that extra space because I have space at the top and the bottom, so I'm just going to let it overlap all the way up. And I tend to readjust a couple of sheets around where I'm working anyway, just to make and line it up neater as I'm working. But these cover sheets come on and off really easily, so we'll just let it overlap a little bit. In fact, I've probably lined it up more on my first row than any other. I will pop a link as well. I do get asked a lot where I get the cover sheets from. I'll pop a link down below. I'm pretty sure it's still an active link. If it's not, do forgive me, the sellers obviously stopped selling them. But the sheets actually come twice this size. I actually have chosen to chop them in half because this size is the size I like to work on. I tend to find I can sometimes get a couple done in an evening, but if I can't, I can pretty much get one section done in an evening. So it's the perfect size for me. Does look like I'm going to run out, but I do have some more bigger ones that I haven't yet cut, so I'll show you what the size is like originally. So these are some that I've not yet cut. So that is the original size, and of course I chopped them in half, and they're reusable. So let me grab my trimmer. Now I can't remember the width that they were originally, so the original width is a couple short of 15 centimetres, so it's actually 14.8 centimetres, which means I need to cut them at 7.4. So let me do a few at once for the sake of ease. I might be pushing it with 4, but we'll see. So I've got a 7.4, which means they are all the same size. And as I say, they do fit in my little passport holder perfectly. Perfecto. So much so that I've recently done another passport holder for holding stickers for labelling my containers. Okay, I think that was one sheet too many that I tried to cut. Cut these last two. So 7.4. It's a good job it wasn't 7.7 centimetres because my trimmer's got a join at that point. And then we'll just continue on. It doesn't matter what side you use these ones. If you use the likes of parchment paper, that does matter which side you use it. So just bear that in mind depending on where you've got your cover sheets from. Some sides may be fine to use, other sides won't be. And it means that all my cover sheets, I have double the amount. And we'll just store the rest in there for the next project. So that is my canvas prep. You'll also find that with this clear paper, there is one side of it that sticks down and comes up really easily, and the other side is a lot tougher to peel up. So there is actually a difference between these as well. So there we go. There's my tree picture. There's my diamonds. I will be using this tray that was gifted to me by Wilson 3D Designs. Absolutely love this tray. And I think pen wise, I'm actually going to go back and use this one. So this one is a wood pen that I got from Etsy. And I asked them to put the pen tip rather than putting, you know, like another single placer or anything on the end, or a multi-placer, just because I like the look of it. But I'm going to use this because it's wood and it goes with trees. So that's the reason for that. So that is all my supplies I think that I need. I do have washi tape and stuff in case I need to trim out some of these edges as I go along. But yeah, that's another one prepped. Thank you so much for joining me. I am now going to go and start putting diamonds on it because it's a weekday and when I finish work I like to diamond paint. So thank you for joining me and I'll speak to you all again soon.